What's going on, guys? My name is Richard, and welcome back to another weekly watchlist video sponsored by MarketSmith. As always, we'll talk through both the fundamentals and technicals of all the stocks on my focus list, and if you do enjoy my analysis, please go ahead and leave a like down below. It helps me out and my channel, and of course subscribe if you are new and looking forward to more videos just like this one every single week. So starting things off, we've got AMRC, which is in a leading group here, and overall you've got decent estimates for both 2020 and 2021. Great earnings last quarter, up 111%. And overall, looking at the chart, it's right near all-time highs, basing, tightening up against that 21 EMA, and the RS line is basing along with the price. And looking at the fund ownership, you can see an increasing trend, although you don't have any high-quality funds investing into this company. So as for the technical setup, what I would use is a break above this pivot at 45.35 on above average volume, and you could put your stop right below here for a pretty good risk reward setup. And I like the volume coming in down here, and overall I like how it's right near all-time highs, tightening up. You've got some nice reversal bars recently, so overall it looks like a strong stock and a decent setup for next week. Next on the list, we've got BIGC or Big Commerce, and overall you can see decent sales growth, not explosive, and it isn't profitable yet and isn't supposed to be in 2020 or in 2021. Overall, pretty poor IBD ratings except for Group RS strength and, of course, accumulation distribution as well. Overall, you can see you've already got 179 funds owning this stock and 3 high-quality funds as well. And if we look at the chart, you can see it had its IPO advance phase, breaking out of this IPO base and advancing very quickly to about 160, but now it's pulled back all the way to about 80, and looks like it's forming the start of another uptrend here. So what I'm looking to use for the setup is a break above the short-term pivot at 82.99 on above average volume. I like the action on Friday. You can see above average volume, and so overall it looks like a pretty strong setup. Next on the list, we've got COUP Software, and this does report earnings tomorrow, so I'm looking for an earnings gap up through this high right here. But overall, great earnings and sales the past few quarters. Last quarter up 200%, sales up 32%, and after-tax margins up 12.1%. You've got good estimates for 2022, a nice fund ownership, and 4 high-quality funds in there as well. Overall, looking at the chart, what I'm looking for, as I said, is either a gap up through this high, or if it has a smaller move on earnings, a move through this pivot at 336.25 on above average volume. So that is COUP Software. And next up, we've got CRSR. And overall, you can see great earnings and sales the past few quarters. Last quarter, earnings up 382%, sales up 61%, and after-tax margins up 10.6%. You don't have great estimates for 2021, but overall, very strong estimates for 2020. And overall, this is a very strong IPO that's pulled back after its IPO advance phase. Looking at the fund ownership, you can see there's only 55 funds in the stock and no high-quality funds in there just yet. So looking at the chart, I like how it's tightening up against this 21 EMA. You've got nice reversal action on the 30th on high volume, but overall this could completely build out a base a little bit more. It doesn't have to go right back to all-time highs, so I'm looking for the start of another uptrend and to enter with a smaller kind of pilot position, especially because this is a little bit riskier and more volatile because it is a recent IPO. So that is my plan for CRSR. And next up, we've got DQ, and overall great earnings and sales the past few quarters. Last quarter, sales up 50%, earnings up 175%, and after-tax margins up 20.1%. And once again, this is in a top group, energy solar. Overall, you can see great estimates for 2021, up 82%, with revisions up as well. Great EPS rating at 91, Group RS A+, estimate rating is an A, accumulation distribution B+, and the overall comms rating is as strong as you can get, 99. And look at the fund ownership, you can see a nice increasing trend, although you don't have any high-quality funds in there at this moment. And if we look at the chart, you can see it's basing along with the RS line and has been very choppy back and forth here, which is why I'm looking for a buy off the 50 SMA bounce. So as for the setup, let's talk about that a little bit more in depth. Overall, you can see how it's faded quite a bit near the top of this range. So I'm looking to buy at the bottom of the range with a sell stop below the 50 SMA if it moves through about this level through the 21 EMA on above average volume. Next on the list, we've got Etsy, and overall you can see explosive earnings and sales the past 2 quarters. Last quarter, earnings up 483%, sales up 128%, and after-tax margins up 20.3%. And looking at the annual EPS estimates, you can see in 2020, it was supposed to be up 108%, but because it's so late in the year, the 2021 number is what really matters. And unfortunately, this is only up 2%. Hopefully that increases relatively soon. Great IBD ratings, great fund ownership, and also you've got a whole bunch of high quality funds in there as well. And if we look at the chart, you can see it's in the stage 1B right at that pivot point. So it looks strong, great prior uptrend. And as for the specific entry point, what I want to see is a teal dot, green dot setup next week and a confirmed move up on above average volume, hopefully taking out these highs right here as well. Next on the list, we've got Frog, and you can see decent sales growth the past 3 quarters, although it hasn't always been profitable. And you can see that annual EPS estimates are actually down for 2021, down 62%. And you've got a poor EPS rating at 21. Group RS is very strong, A-, SMA rating is a C, accumulation distribution, C+, and the overall comms rating is very bad as well at 33. But you already have a bunch of funds in here, especially a bunch of high quality funds in there already, which really piqued my interest. So overall, looking at the chart, you can see that it failed its IPO base here and now is setting up its longer due diligence phase, although it is showing signs of an uptrend down here. So as for the technical setup, what I want to see is a break above this pivot at 72.36 on above average volume. I like how you see a lot of big up volume down here, big blue bars, and how it's already undercut that IPO low back down here. So that is Frog, and next up we've got Halo. And overall, you can see great growth the past 2 quarters, great earnings last quarter, and also very strong estimates for 2021, up 99% with revisions up as well. Decent IBD ratings, decent fund ownership, and one high quality fund in there as well. And looking at the chart, you can see it's a recent gap up from a stage 1C base, and overall is now consolidating, tightening up a little bit on this right-hand side at about 40. So as for the entry setup, what I want to see is a break above this pivot, which is at 41.55, or a pullback to the 21 EMA, and then bounce back. So that is Halo. And next on the list, we've got IIPR, which is still just going sideways. Great estimates for 2021, strong fund ownership. And if we look at the chart, what I want to see is a break of this downward trend line on above average volume. So moving on, we've got NVDA, and overall you can see great growth in terms of earnings and sales the past 4 quarters. And you can see for 2022, the estimates are up 20%, although the revisions are down. The EPS rating is very strong, 97, comms rating also a 99, great fund ownership in all the top funds. And if we look at the chart, you can see it's been tightening up on this right-hand side after the stage 3 base, after failing that pivot here. So overall, as for the entry setup, what I want to see is a break above this level, 546.94 on above average volume, and I want to see it approaching all-time highs. Next on the list, we've got Peloton, which is also building out its base here, the stage 1 consolidation after the strong prior uptrend. And overall, you can see great earnings the past 2 quarters, over 200%, sales also up near 200%, and you can also see great estimates for 2022 at 125%, decent IBD ratings, great fund ownership, and 2 high-quality funds already invested into this stock. So as for the entry setup, what I want to see is a break above this level at 117.75 on above average volume, and I want to see a definitive move upwards and a break of this kind of tightness right here at the 50 SMA. So that is Peloton, and next up we've got Shopify. And overall, you can see great earnings the past 2 quarters, and for 2021, you can see not the greatest estimates, only up 3%, but it grew an incredible amount in 2020. And overall, the EPS rating is a 98, the group RS an A-, the SMA rating is a B, accumulation distribution is a C, and the overall comms rating is a 98. And looking at the fund ownership, you can see a nice increasing trend, and you've got a whole bunch of high quality funds in there as well as it builds out this stage 8 base. So this is a very late stage base, and you've got it approaching that top once again. So as for entry setup, what I want to see is a break above this level at 194.7 on above average volume, and ideally then a breakout into new all-time highs. So that is Shopify, and next up we've got Upwork. And overall, you can see great earnings this past quarter that caused this gap up. And if we look at this, you can also see an earnings surprise of 166%. So it really caught Wall Street off guard. And looking at the annual EPS estimates, you can see in 2021, it's just supposed to be profitable, but you don't have the greatest IBD ratings over here. And looking at the fund ownership, you can see an increasing trend and one high quality fund in there as well. So as for the entry setup, what I want to see is either a pullback to about this level right here, undercut and reclaim, or a continued move up above this level at 36.66. And I do already have a position, so I'll be looking to add to my initial buy. And lastly, we've got Zillow, and overall you can see decent growth in terms of sales a few quarters ago. Last quarter earnings up 408%, after-tax margins up 13.5%, and you've got great EPS estimates for 2021, up 90%, with revisions up as well. Decent IBD ratings, and looking at the fund ownership, you can see an increasing trend and 3 high-quality funds in there as well. And if we look at the chart, you can see it's tightening up a little bit on this right-hand side, and overall is in a nice uptrend. And here is the entry setup that I'm looking for. You can see either a breakout above the prior kind of high here at 112.49, or you've got the earlier entry back here at about 111. So that's my plan for Zillow, and this is one of my top 3 setups for the week, along with Peloton and also Etsy. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and if you did, please go ahead and leave a like down below and subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I'll see you guys in future videos.